Hello guys and welcome back to A Cup of Knowledge. Today I'm going to be talking about Kieft's War, also known as the Wappinger War. The war was a conflict between the now defunct colony of New Netherland and the Wappinger and Lenape Native Americans. It was named for the then Director General of the colony, whose name was William Kieft. The war caused him to become unpopular and he was replaced by Piers Stuyvesant after the war. Quick disclaimer, the conflict might be considered controversial by YouTube and the people watching this video. Note that this video is meant to educate on the war itself and is from an unbiased viewpoint, though the Dutch were technically at fault. Okay, no more alleged bias, let's talk about the conflict. Before we can talk about the war, we need to look at the background of what happened. Willem Kieft, the Director General of New Netherland, was appointed to the position in 1638, likely through family connections, as most people got their jobs in those days. He arrived at the colony in April of the same year. The colony prospered and grew, and soon the Dutch East India Company declared the colony a free trade zone, which suddenly propelled Kieft into the position of the governor of a rapidly growing economy. Knowing this, he decided to reduce the costs of goods, and this began a chain of events that led to Kieft's War. His first plan to reduce the costs of goods was to gain tribute payments from the local Native American tribes. He was warned many times by longtime colonists not to do this, but he ignored them and began to solicit tribute payments from the local tribes. The chiefs refused, and after some pigs were stolen from a farm, Kieft sent soldiers to a Raritan village on Staten Island, and several natives were killed. The natives came unglued and retaliated by burning down the farmhouse from which the pigs had been stolen. The Dutch were enraged, and they set up bounty payments for whoever killed a Raritan and submitted the head. Oh, and the whole time, it was other colonists that had stolen the pigs. So basically, now the Raritans had bounties on their heads for nothing. Not long after, a few Dutchmen were killed by natives in a few incidents, one of which had been brought on by alcohol, a conflict over a missing coat, which ended with the death of a trading post's foreman. Kieft learned of these incidents and attempted to build support for war. He created the Council of 12 Men, which was a body elected by the populace to advise him. The council was shocked by Kieft's idea to go to war, as they had lived in peace with the natives for almost 20 years, and they refused to let him massacre the village of one of the natives involved in an incident if they did not produce the murderer. The natives were extremely important to the economy of the colony because of the pelts they produced, and were also far more numerous than the Dutch, so they could easily beat them. Because of this, the council attempted to dissuade Kieft from going to war, and after they attempted to try to make a permanent representative body, Kieft dissolved the council and issued a decree banning them from meeting again. He then sent a militia to attack the supposed murderer's village, but the militia got lost. Because of this, Kieft accepted peace from the natives and then proceeded to attack a camp of refugees from the same tribe after refusing to aid them. The refugees made camp again, and then things got rather bloody. David Pieterzoon de Vries, the colonist whose pigs were stolen from, described the Pavonia massacre as the following. Infants were torn from their mothers' breasts and hacked to pieces in the presence of their parents, and pieces thrown into the fire and in the water, and other sucklings, being bound to small boards, were cut, stuck, pierced, and miserably massacred in a manner to move a heart of stone. Some were thrown into the river, and when the fathers and mothers endeavored to save them, the soldiers would not let them come on land, but made both parents and children drown." End quote. This was what happened in the Pavonia massacre on February 25th, 1643, in the native camps at Pavonia. 120 natives, women and children included, were brutally murdered. Kieft greatly rewarded the soldiers for these deeds, and again the natives came unglued and prepared for war. The result was a 2-year-long war, with 1,500 Algonquin natives invading New Netherland, killing many colonists and destroying 2 decades worth of villages and farms. That winter, the Dutch retaliated and killed 500 natives. Kieft became increasingly unpopular during this time, and New Amsterdam was swamped with destitute refugees. The colonists increasingly resisted Kieft's rule, and they began to flat taxes they were supposed to pay and leave New Amsterdam by boat. Kieft then hired a new captain, John Underhill, to fight the natives. His forces killed over 1,000 natives, including as many as 700 in another massacre, the Pound Ridge Massacre, likely including women and children. Back to the colonists, they wrote to the Dutch East India Company and the Dutch Republic itself requesting intervention. However, nothing ever came of the letters. Many colonists proceeded to band together to write a petition for the removal of Kieft, writing, quote, "We sit here among thousands of wild and barbarian people, in whom neither consolation nor mercy can be found. We left our dear fatherland, and if God the Lord were not our comfort, we would perish in our misery," end quote. For the next 2 years, the fighting continued until a truce was reached by the Dutch and the natives. The Dutch East India Company then lost confidence in its control over its territory in the New World and recalled Kieft to the Netherlands to answer for his conduct, but he died in a shipwreck off Wales before he reached port. He was replaced by Peter Stuyvesant, who controlled New Netherland until the colony was ceded to the English. After the removal of Kieft, the Dutch did not fight any more wars against the natives in New Netherland, and peace was achieved once again. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you will be notified when we make more videos. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.